Hello, I'm still. We were trying very hard to be professional. Honestly, it's just a parallel arse here today. I do apologise about that.
Dear.
I just had a little bit of a cheery moment. When breaks. It made your hair curly. Which is why we both got curly hair today. I'm so sorry about that. Welcome to Craft.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Right, be more professional. Welcome to Welcome to Craft. Right, we have got a fantastic craft along on for you. I've got my game face back on now and calm. Whew. Maybe Tracy might get me a cup of tea in a minute. That might calm me down. We have got a fantastic craft along. If you saw the earlier show, you saw this really beautiful, almost sort of like a domed 3D kind of card that we're going to be making today. It's absolutely beautiful. We've got some lovely papers that you're going to be using with that. I'm showing you lots of different techniques if we can stop giggling. Lots of people are calling in to let us know that they're watching. Teresa says, good morning, everyone from Illinois. Hope everyone's having a great day. Alicia said, good morning and greetings from Arkansas. Hello, everybody. Charlotte says, good afternoon, all my crafty lovelies from Herne Bay. We've got Lynn Blackledge saying, afternoon greetings from the Isle of Wight. Now, Isle of Wight, and I'm going to give you a little bit of information about the Isle of Wight in a minute. Sensational Sky says, what are we making today? We're going to see it in just a moment. It is absolutely beautiful. Diane says, good morning, Chloe. CCT, hello, USA crafty friends from the mountains of East Tennessee. Now, Isle of Wight is really important because today we have got Gareth here who's going to be doing the craft along with us. And Gareth is from the Isle of Wight. Hello, Gareth. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you very much. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Apart from the laughing and a little bit of crying, but I feel much better now. So you're going to be crafting along with us, and we think you're the first gentleman we've had on the craft along. So you've got a lot to live up to. Actually, you've got nothing to live up to. You can be as wonderful or as average as you possibly can, but I think you're going to be superlative, aren't you? You're going to be superlative on the show.
I'm going to try my best. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I can say.
We were talking in the earlier break about your first purchase from us. And what did you say it was?
It was the birthday kit and some of the sprays.
Oh, some of the glitter sprays or the shimmer sprays? Yeah. Fantastic.
The shimmer sprays.
Excellent. And that started you on your crafty journey?
It did. Well, it started me on my crafty journey with Crafter's Companion. I do have other things, but... yeah, I've not stopped buying since.
I think you're in good company because we're all a little bit like that. And in fact, in the break, my mum said, oh, those things that you showed earlier on, she said, I really like those. Bit of a, sort of a hint there. It is Mother's Day coming up, so I might have to purchase some of those. But I think everyone has multiple deliveries sort of every day that they're trying to sort of hide. Quite often the man comes from the delivery company and I don't even know what I've ordered. And I was like, oh, this would be a surprise. And I get it and oh, yeah, I remember buying that. I think that's always the case. So we're very much looking forward to seeing what you're going to be doing today. And I'm sure you're going to be fantastic.
I'm going to give it my all. Excellent. As the first bloke. Let's do it.
That's what we like to hear. That's what we like to hear. Debbie, what are we going to be making today?
Oh, we're going to be making a little bit of an unusual card. Hi, Gareth.
Hello.
This is the card we're going to be making. I just wanted to try something a little bit different. What I love about this is it's got that 3D element where we've got two sides with two different decorative dies. This would be great as a table piece pleaser with photographs in it. Great to use like in all sorts of things. I love that you've got this space in the middle so you can put your own verses in there. You can write your own sentiment. I absolutely love that. But the best thing about it is it folds flat. Look at that. I mean, you wouldn't believe it, but it folds flat. Now we're doing a bit of paper piecing on one side. On the opposite side, we're going to be doing a bit of a shaker element. We've got a shaker card going on in there, and I've got a little sort of a tip of how to do that without your acetate, because if we was to bow our acetate like this, not only wouldn't it bend like this and be bendable, there's no way it would lay flat either because we'd have to have it bowed. Right. So I've used a cello bag on the inside to create our shaker element there.
Excellent.
So, but if you haven't got a cello bag, don't worry, you haven't got to do that shaker element. It's just an added bonus of doing something a little bit different. But that's the card we're going to be making.
Fantastic. Really looking forward to that. Actually, I was thinking, you were saying about table, having it in the middle of a table. Menu. If you're having a dinner party in there, that would work
that's
well.
A brilliant idea. Yeah. Yes, love that.
Lots of options.
Drinks menu one side and your food menu on the other.
Yeah, I like love that. Fantastic. We do have some fantastic deals for you today. So if you want to have a look at your... What was that? What was your watch telling you to do?
I didn't get that. Could you repeat it, please? It's just going to be one of them shows, isn't it?
It started, I mean, 7 minutes in, we're still giggling. We do have a special deal for you, and this is only available, we're only telling you about this on the shows. So you won't be able to find this elsewhere. You wouldn't have had an email about it. But if you use the code CTV Secret 10, that will give you 10% off anything. It's a single-use code. It's only valid until midnight tonight. So do make sure, if you are going to buy something, remember to say CTV Secret 10 to get your 10% off. Now, if you are looking at buying some new bits and pieces, the Illustrator pens are going to be a great opportunity for you. This is a 36-piece box of your Illustrator pens. This is £55 or $85. Platinum price is £44 or $68. This price is only going to be valid until midnight, but you can get that 10% off as well. So if you are in the market for some new pens, these are the ones to go for today. So do have a look at those. We are going to get started. A few people are saying, well, lots of people actually are saying hello to Gareth. Anne says, we're all the same, Gareth. It's compulsory to watch and buy. Absolutely. Thank goodness you do, because otherwise we'd feel that, you know, you didn't love us. Charlotte says, it's so funny. When my package arrived early, I was saying it's just like Christmas, as I forget what I've ordered. Yeah. Occasionally I get a parcel and I think it's going to be my Crafter's Companion stuff, and it's not. It's some other rubbish that I've got somewhere elsewhere that I don't really need. But, you know, things that I don't want, you know, like toilet rolls or something like that. You know, not the exciting bits and pieces I was hoping for. Kathleen says, Gareth, I've been shopping out of control since birthday week. Birthday week was October. Wow, that is impressive. That is very impressive. So lots of people messaging in. If you've got any questions, do message in. Got any comments, let us know how you're sort of getting on. If anyone needs for us to recap on some of the stages, again, just do let us know, because Debbie's here to help you go through all that craft along. And you're going to tell us what we need on the craft along, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. We always have a shopping list. It is put out there, but the things that you're going to need for the craft along, and these are just, if you want to use different paper pads, you can absolutely do so. If you want to use different looks of the dies or different creator card dies, you can do that. But what I'm going to be using today is our simple creator card dies. We're going to be using our Floral Fancy and our Pretty Petals. I'm also using the set with flowers, the 12 by 12 pad, and the linen cardstock. I've also got just a stamp set, and again, I'm using Blooms with Grace, but you can use whatever sentiment stamp that you want to use, and I'm going to be using that with our quick drying jet black ink pad. Now, some extra elements that you're going to need are your foam pads, a tape pen, tape runner. I'm using a 3mm and a 6mm in width, our tacky glue, our Gemini die cutting machine, our large guillotine, and our rocker blocks, or your stamping platform, whichever you've got to hand. Also, we're going to be using some multi-purpose cardstock, some heat resistant acetate. I've got the Coral Blush, which is our mixed sequins pack, but you can use, again, any sequins or beads or whatever you've got to create your shaker card with. Some gems, scissors, craft knife and cutting mat, poker tool, and a cello bag, and that's all that you're going to need to create this with me. But like I say, don't worry if you've got a few variations that are a bit different. It really doesn't matter.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm really looking forward to seeing what we get up to today. Michelle says, hi Becky, Debbie, Gareth and everyone. I'm late again. How amazing is this craft along? I think it's going to be fantastic. Rhonda says, Gareth is a natural. There you go, you're getting all these compliments already, Gareth. Rhonda says, hello Becky, Debbie, CCTV crew, Team Social and all my crafty peeps from around the globe. It's cold and I'm going to snow in Chicago area. It was snowing quite a lot here yesterday. Yesterday I was here, wasn't I? Yeah. Well, I was at Sewing Street, and then I came up from Birmingham to Durham, and it was really snowy and quite treacherous on the road. So I do hope wherever you are, you're being nice and safe inside and waiting for the craft along. Now, we showed you earlier on the creator card here. This is the simple creator cards that we've got over here. Now, this is a great deal. We've got lots of different ones here. Put them around the right way. This one is your heart. That we've got here. So this is your rose garden with that heart in the middle.
I never promised you a rose garden.
Oh dear, not
Let
more
Gareth singing. He's got it.
This next one is your dainty doodles. Then we have got your timeless foliage. We've also got your fancy florals. we have got your pretty petals, which you saw earlier on, and you've got your traditional tiles. So the price for this is £67.96 or $79.80. Do remember you can use your 10% code to get your 10% off. And we're going to get started now on the craft along, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, let's get going. Right, so I hope you've got your pack of multi-purpose cardstock. It's the reason I use it is because it is multi-purpose. So you can use it for your card blanks, you can use it to ink on, you can use it for anything. It's 300 GSM as well, which makes it really strong. Now what we need to start off with is 4 pieces and we're going to cut them 7-inch squares, so 7 by 7. Okay. So I'm going to do them individual. Some people like to put 2 in at a time and cut them down. I'm just going to cut each one so it gives you a time to catch up with those as well. So I'm going to line that up in my guillotine at 7 inches and we're going to trim that to 7 inches, turn that round and then cut that to 7 inches as well. Oh, got something blowing away on me there. So let's pop that in. So that's our first piece and we're going to cut another 3 more of those. So just taking it to your guillotine. If you've only got the small guillotine, then just do the measurements on your craft mat and then trim that to size. You would still fit that in your smaller guillotine.
Does it matter if you use the top or the bottom of your guillotine?
It doesn't matter at all. Michelle always uses the bottom because she's left-handed. Right. So it's easy for her because she cuts it with her left. It's easy for her to see at the bottom because she's using her hand to cut down, right. But I always line it up to the top, so but it doesn't matter, your measurements are the same on the bottom as they are on the top, right. So not a problem at all. So this is our third piece, so we're trimming that 7 by 7, and then our final piece, which is our 4th piece, and again we're going to trim that to 7 inches by 7 inches, so just like so. Right, now while we've still got the guillotine there, we're now going to take another 2 sheets and this time we're going to cut this one to 6 inches by 8 inches. I will recap on all of these, so I need to put my foot out just so I've got the right measurements. Let me just take, and you'll keep all these pieces of cardstock, so don't feel like you have to get rid of them. If you've got a bit box, they're good to keep because they're nice sizes. And then this time we're going to cut this to 8 inches. So the lights are shining bright in the studio, so 8 inches by 6 inches. And that's our 6-inch mark, just like so. And then we're going to do a second piece exactly the same, so 8 inches. And then trim that down. Oh, that's 9 inches. There we go, put it down one. It's hard to see those in the lights. And then turn that round and trim that to 6 inches. So 2 pieces at 8 inches and 4 pieces by 7 by 7. Right, let's pop that to the side. So just to allow everyone to continue their cutting and get all their cutting done, pop all the scrap pieces to the side. So you'll end up with 4 pieces, which are 7-inch square. So 7 by 7 and 2 pieces that are 8 inches by 6 inches, okay? So all good, so hopefully you're all good. And if you need me to stop at any point, just say. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the 6 by 8 inch, so we're going to pop these to the front, so I'm going to leave them to the front. I'm going to take these 2 here, and this piece, what we're going to do is we're going to score this at 1 inch and 7 inches. So we're going to bring in our scoreboard. I'm going on to the inch side. And then we're going to score this one and we're going to score it at 1 inch. And you could do this 2 ways, or you could go in and score it at 7 inches. But I'm going to turn it round just so I know I've got that really even part and score at 1 inch again. Okay. So we've got those 2 pieces on the side and we're going to do that with both pieces of card. So again, score at 1 inch. And you can either go across and score at 7 or just turn it round and score at 1. I always think that way, depending on, you might have got a tiny bit out on your cardstock, but by doing it that way, you know that you're scoring 1 inch in on both ends. And then I always like to fold this over. Now what I always suggest is folding onto the small part. Right. Because if you fold over, Becky, onto a smaller end, you don't disturb the texture in the cardstock.
Oh,
If you
okay.
fold your smallest piece over, because you're folding it, it makes it a bit wavy. If you fold it over on the large part, you don't get that wave at all.
Okay.
So you get that, so you can see that's actually perfect. Oh, that way, and then you can, there we go, you can see those ends are absolutely perfect. Okay, so it's just a little tip really, not that it matters if you do it any other way, but I just think that's a nice little tip there. So just folding over all those pieces. So these are your two pieces that we're going to be die cutting into. So first off, let's do a bit of die cutting and then we'll have a break and get everyone to make sure they're caught up on that. So the first one we're going to be doing is our shaker card element. And we're going to be using the pretty petals. Now again, you don't have to use this one. I love it if you craft along and create like this, but actually you can use whichever ones you want to use. Now, because it's a die that doesn't have an outside cutting edge, it means this is going to fit perfectly onto that inside of our card, and I don't need to worry about it cutting out. It's going to cut into. So I'm not using the outside edge. What I am going to use, though, I want to have an inside part. So we're going to use our biggest nesting die of those and place that on the inside. So the first thing I want to do is just centralise it into the middle. Just like so, and then we're going to pop that there. Oh yes, I have. And then we're going to take my low-tack tape. Now I am actually just going to place this onto my, just so you can see, I'm just placing this onto my top to take off a little bit of the stickiness, just because I don't want it to tear any of my tape. So making sure that we've put all that into the front. We're then going to pop one on the inside there, and I'm going to put one on the outside. So we've got that one, and then we're going to run that through our machine. If you feel like you need to have more tape to hold it down, then absolutely do that. There's no rules, so I just put a little bit on each side, so that will die cut them out. And then run that through. Now the good thing with this, you can, I'm trying to think, yes, it's 6 inches. So if you did only have a Gemini Junior, it would fit through your Gemini Junior as well.
That's a good tip about taking the excess stickiness
Yes.
off. Yeah.
The Gemini has a lot of pressure and it does tend to make our tape quite sticky. So let's pop that over there, and then we can just carefully see, even with taking that sticky off, it's just, you can see it embeds itself quite well, but it's enough to not let it damage our cardstock. So, and let's take off our next one. Just moving this all out, comes out really easy. Look at that, I mean, it's just such a beautiful die, absolutely stunning. And then we can take that one away. Take that one off there. I'm going to keep that bit, not because I need that, but we're going to use it to die cut one of the next ones out.
Okay.
So just keep that to the side. I'm just going to drop this down so we can clear that. So I would say just either give it a tap or drop it down, and then just use your pokey tool to take out the extra bits, because what we need to do is cut this again, but this time we're going to cut it completely out, and we're going to be using one of the linen cardstock that we've got in the pats. I'm just looking around to see which ones haven't come out.
It's such an intricate cut, and it's just absolutely perfect, isn't it, when you go through the machine?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just beautiful. Such beautiful designs. You know what, Becky, it always wows me how I know we've got a brilliant design team, but they're always coming up with new ideas all the time. And you think about how long we've been doing creator cards for, and yet we still manage to come up with different ideas to what we've done in the past, which blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a nice idea to have a creator card die. I've liked them from day one. And I just, yeah, they're just going to always. And then what I would do is just put those lines in. The reason I fold these at the beginning before we do the die cutting as well, Becky, is because it would flatten your lines and then you'd have to perhaps rescore.
Yeah.
So if you fold them and burnish them, it just creates that card straight away. Right, now we've got that one done. We're going to do one more piece of die cutting, and then we'll just take a break to make sure everyone's caught up with that. All I'm going to use in this one, so just pick a colour that coordinates well. well. I'm just going to go with my red. That's the one I've been using. So we're going to take that one out, and this time we're going to do exactly the same, apart from we are going to use our outside cutting edge.
Okay.
So we're going to use that outside cutting edge. I'm going to pop that right to my corner so I'm not wasting any. I might actually just use my craft knife there just to cut that piece out, just to be a bit frugal with my cardstock. And then again, we want that middle centre as well. So firstly, let's take that to the outside. And I would just say, and it does, even if you get a little bit that's more, you've got more border on one side, honestly, don't worry about it. It's not going to make your design look bad at all. I quite like it sometimes. In fact, Craig did one last week, and it had more on one side than the other, and it actually looks really cool.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, it doesn't matter what you do you, and you'll have a great design. So let's pop that one in. And then we will die cut that one out again. Do you have a favourite craft, Becky? Do you have like a craft that you love doing? I know you obviously sewing is your passion, but is there a paper craft that you love doing? Do you like making cards? Are you scrapbooking?
Do you know, I've never tried scrapbooking.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know why I've never tried scrapbooking. I like making cards. But I think you've got to be giving the cards to the right person, because sometimes people don't appreciate. Let's be honest, you know, the money and the time it costs to create a card is quite pricey, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, time-wise, you know, you easily spend an hour making a card because you enjoy it. So I don't know. I like a card, but I want to give them to the people that really appreciate them. My mum always really appreciates them. My daughter appreciates them. Other people not necessarily.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it's a bit of a labour of love, isn't it? You know, it's heartbreaking when you sort of make something and then you see someone shoved it in the recycling bin when you go there a little bit later on.
I remember first making cards, and I used to say to people, and if you're going to throw it away, could you please give me it back? So I've said that before, yeah. Because it is quite heartbreaking. And I have got to the stage where I do understand why people throw them away, because otherwise they accumulate so much stuff themselves.
But I also think sometimes if you're really good at making cards, which obviously everybody here is amazing, sometimes they don't look like they're, well, homemade and handmade are different things. And for some people, they don't see that. They just think, oh yeah, that's a nice card.
Yes.
That probably cost a bomb in the shop. Not realising you've, you know, cried and sworn over the fact that it's not working many times. So I think, you know, sometimes there's like a fine line between, perhaps we're just too good. That's what I reckon.
That's what it is, Becky. Yeah. That's what it is. Absolutely, absolutely. We'll have to ask Gareth in the break what he does with his makes.
Yes.
Right. So we've done that one. So this one, let me just bring that over. This is the one that's going to be layered on top of that. But before we do that, we're going to do our other elements. So what we're going to do, Becky, let's have a little break just there. Let everyone get caught up with their die cutting, and then we're going to make the shaker element of this card.
Fantastic. That sounds good. So we've had Christine Mahoney's messaged in. She said, you know, with both sets of paper pads, I've got 35 paper pads coming and 10 textured card packs. Christine, I'm not surprised. We've all seen your craft. In fact, we were talking about it this morning, how many amazing paper pads you have. That is quite an impressive. I bet your postman thinks, oh my goodness, been shopping again, great big parcels to deliver. 35 paper pads, it's quite heavy, isn't it? Quite hefty. Kendall says, Debbie, love hearing you sing that song about the rose garden. Don't sing it again. Or it might be, she said it's her grandmother's favourite.
Did she say that or did you say that?
Excuse me. She said it was my grandmother's favourite. I don't know whether it was Rose Garden. It might have been, that song might have been her grandmother's favourite. I'm not going to sing it. The one we sing with the circular foam tape.
Oh, okay.
That might have been her grandmother's favourite song.
Oh, that might have been.
I doubt it was. I think it was Rose Garden. But you never know. Carolyn says, I can second the fact that you keep coming up with brilliant ideas. Just check my craft room. Yeah, I mean, every time I come in, I look at the things that we've got and I think, oh my goodness, that's so good. I I need to buy it. Joe says, happy Saturday, crafty friends. Diane says, good morning, everyone from Tennessee. And Joe says, I started paper crafting with scrapbooking. I didn't get to making cards until I got the subscription boxes. It's just not been something that I've looked at, scrapbooking. I should give it a whirl, shouldn't I? My mum did some scrapbooking for me for my birthday when I turned 40. Yeah, 40, not 50, I'm not 50 yet. But she did it all in fabric. So she embroidered things, she got fabric from like school uniforms and things like that, and she created a scrapbook out of fabric. So maybe I should do something like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, something like that. So hopefully everybody's caught up. We're good. Can we see how Gareth's doing? Yep. Gareth, how are you doing?
Oh, I think I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
I've not fallen over yet.
Excellent.
I've managed to do this thus
you're,
far.
You've caught up. That's brilliant. Have you got the same creator card die there? You've got the petal one?
Oh, I do, yes. I have all the creator card dies that came in this set because I have a problem.
Excellent.
That was one of your parcels, wasn't it, Gareth?
One of my many, many parcels that I have to hide.
That's brilliant. I'm really glad you're keeping up, and I hope you're all keeping up at home. So we'll carry on, if that's all right.
Absolutely, yes. Right, so I've got a cello bag here. I'm using, now this cello bag it's classed as a 6 by 6 inch cello bag, but it's about 6.5 by 6.5. Now the thing with using a cello bag, because it has that, it's got the same thing that a acetate would do, apart from it's much more flexible. Now the only thing with this, the first time I did this, I thought to myself, actually, I could just put all my little sequins in there and then just stick that to the cardstock. I realised quickly that your sides on a cello bag, literally, I mean, look, you can see, they literally pull away. They come apart. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cut our cello bag down. So we're going to trim this up, and I want to create this. I'm going to create it at 5 7/8 of an inch. So it's just below our 6 inches, but I'm going to do this on both sides. So I'm going to just trim a little bit off of one side, so using my guillotine, turn that over, and then I'm going to a little bit off, so just below my 6 inches. I'm just making sure that that's straight, and then I'm going to pull that down, and then we're going to do the same along the bottom. So we end up with two pieces that are 5 6/8 of an inch. So let me just put that down a little bit more. Doesn't seem to want to cut my end bit off. Doesn't want to cut that bit off at all. So actually, I'm just going to straighten that with my scissors. So if you do have trouble doing that end bit, just use your scissors. And then again, let's lift that up, go in at just under 6 inches, like so. Doesn't seem, cut the first bit, and then it doesn't seem to want to cut the rest. So I am just going to trim that one off where I can see that line is. Like so. So you end up with your two separate pieces. Okay. So let's pop that there and pop that underneath. And then we want to use our 3mm red liner tape. So I'm going to bring that one in, which is our thinnest red liner tape. And then what I would do is bring in a piece of card, because then you'll be able to see what you're doing, because you can see your bag there. When you're doing it on the glass mat, you can't really see. And then what we're going to do is we're going to attach our red liner tape all the way round. So just around the bottom, and you're just going to go around like so. Now, I tried this with acetate, but because of the nature of the dome, it just doesn't work very well. You could have used, I did try it as well with heat-resistant acetate, which we're also going to use on our shaker card, our paper piecing element. But for the shaker card, it didn't allow enough. Flexibility with that shaker card element. So we're just going to pop that down there like so.
And we've all got little bags like that, you know, sort of sequins come in those bags, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Definitely. And if you didn't want to do a shaker card, you haven't got to do a shaker card. So, you know, it's not a case of, I just thought of adding different elements, because I quite like a sort of textured card where you're doing different things onto a card. And it makes a big difference then. So I've done that on that side. We're going to then do the same on the opposite side as well. Okay. So we're going to go round, and we're just going to follow where you've already put that red liner tape all the way round. and that's going to make sure that our bag is sealed. So it's going to be sealed on the inside, and it's going to be sealed to the front, to the inside of our card. And you really do want to do that, because we're not doing a shaker element where we are putting foam. We're not putting foam inside on there, because if we did that, then we wouldn't be able to close it flat. And this is why I've used the cello bag, because this way you still sort of get that shaker card movement element, but you don't have to actually do it where, because it will move in your bag, because it's a cello bag, where if it was acetate, it would lay flat and you would just squeeze the sequins between the two. But because it's a cello bag, it will actually work to keep everything inside.
If you were going to use those foam things, what kind of foam would you use?
What, the foam on a roll, you mean, Becky? Foam on a roll, foam on a roll, foam on a roll, foam on a roll, foam on a roll. Hey, you love that song. You love that song.
Let's see if we can get another one in later on today. One for each show.
One for each show. I love that. Ben will be so proud. He'll be so proud. Right, so what we're going to do now, this is then what's going to go on the inside of our card. So you can see that will fit beautifully in there. If you do have any outside, so I can see on there, like my outside bit, I can just trim that down, because that's not going to matter at all. So if you've got any excess, just trim that away, but you're not going to be able to see it at all. Doesn't matter which way round it goes to start with, because obviously you've got your red liner tape on both sides. So what I would say is, with your first piece, take your pokey tool, and all we're going to do is get that end off of there to start with. So let's take that one away, and then just go all the way around, taking off that liner, just like so. And
it really is such a useful product, isn't it, the red liner tape?
Oh, it's brilliant. Oh no, look, I just actually pulled that completely off. Trust me to do that. Well, I suppose if anyone else has done it, so let me just pop that back in there. What I am going to do is tape, so I should have said to be a bit more careful, because I've literally pulled that one off. But what I am going to do is just, because you're not going to see too much of it, I'm going to grab my red liner tape and just put a bit extra on that inside. Okay. So it's no good worrying about it. It's done. So just there and there. Oh.
Do you need another pair of hands?
And do you know the worst thing? No, I don't need another pair of hands. I just need to, I've gone on the It may be me that's ended up not doing the shake card element. I can't believe I didn't put myself an extra piece in, but it's fine. What I'm going to do is try and stick this bit onto that inside bit. There we go, that's fine. That will do it. That will do it. It might just be a little bit short. In fact, I'm going to do that, Becky. Let's just do it so it might be a little bit short. That's me not being very careful. Well, I tell you what it is. I ripped my bag before I started. So it had a little tear in it, which I was hoping, there we go, that's it. I was hoping that it wouldn't get seen. But I am going to put another bit onto there just to hold that in place.
It is quite a lot more dainty, delicate,
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And then because I've got that split in there, I do need to just, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my red liner tape. But actually, you know what, it's really good to show bits like this, because if it happens to you, you know what to do. Now, all that means is that extra bit of red liner tape, when it goes onto the back of my card, the shaker element won't go to that bit. It will stick to the card. So I'm not going to worry about that at all. So let's take that off a little bit more gently than what I did before. So like so. Oh, there we go. So let's bring our creator card in, and then we're just going to lay that to the background. So let's say I'm going to do this my top half, because it doesn't matter, the shaker element is going to be on the bottom. So what I would say is stretch to the bottom. So we're going to go right to that bottom part like so. And then as you hold that up, push down, and then that will then create that bit on the inside. Smooth that round and down. There we go. just like so. It doesn't have to be perfect because remember you're not going to see that because that is on the inside now. And my line goes across the top there, but you won't see so much of that when you're done. So, but this bottom piece is where the shaker elements are going to be. So then all we're going to do is we need then our next step, which is our next piece of cello bag. Now because we've already applied our tape to that side, when we pop that down, that will go directly over the top. Now, so what I would say with this one, what you need to do is take off your two side pieces. So you're going to take that side piece off of one. So just on to here, I can take that off. There we go. So you want to take off your side piece and your top piece, bottom piece. Bottom piece, so your two side pieces and your bottom piece of tape.
So you've created that little pocket.
Absolutely, yes. And all this is done, so rather than keep that cello bag as a pocket, we've trimmed it down so we know we've got secure sides then. And then when we lay that on top, so we're literally going to take that cello bag, because it's the same size, lay that across the bottom, like so. And don't worry if you've got any excess, you can always trim that off afterwards. So pop that across and then flatten that across to the edge, like so. So then you've got your little pocket on the inside, and then what I would then do is using your scoring tool, just burnish down really well. And then that way you'll get no bits coming out of that little pocket.
Okay.
So just like so. That's it. And then we're not going to put anything on there just yet, because what we want to do, we want to put our sequins in. So these are the little sequins that I've used. They're super cool. I love these ones. So we're just going to pop these onto the inside. So let's open them up. You'll have all different ones. I've used my card quite, it's quite a sort of monochrome feel to it, because it's all quite that coral colour, but I quite like that. Put as much or as little as you want in there. I'm going to fill mine right up, and then we can just pop a little pocket in there. And that creates all your little shaker element. But look at that movability that we wouldn't have if you put two pieces without foam on the side. And then once you've done that, we can then go in with our pokey tool just to take that last piece of tape away. Might be better just going in with my nails to do it. There we go. And then you can seal that up.
Heather Springer says, we've all had red liner mishaps, Debbie. I think it's true. You know, I always get bits of red liner tape stuck in my hair. And Sherry said maybe a Ziploc bag would work.
Oh yeah, I like that idea, yes.
They
just make sure that your sides on that are going to not come out anywhere, like they're not going to split. Because the cello bag, the sides on them are not very strong.
No.
They're quite, if they pull, they're quite easy to do that. But look at that, nice little easy way to make that shaker element, but you've still got all that movability in there. And then any excess, so I can see a little bit at the bottom there, we can just trim that down, because that's obviously sealed with our red liner tape. Now once we've done that, we're going to bring back in this die cut that we've done, and we're going to slightly offset this onto the side, so you can see then you've got that white coming through. Look how beautiful that looks.
Lovely.
Such a lovely design. So we're going to use our dotty tape pen. If you don't have a dotty tape pen, honestly, just use your, I'm going to use a scrap bit of paper out of the bin here. Let's pop that on there. You could just use your tacky glue with your little intricate bottle, or you can use our adhesive double-sided sheets. You can die cut them, so you place your die, or place them onto your piece of paper. But as we've got a dotty tape pen in the studio, hopefully you will have at home, we're just going to add that all around those edges. And you want to make sure that you've got plenty on this time, because this is the outside of your card and it is the one that's going to be bowing and moving about. So it's just a case that make sure you get into all those little elements.
Dyer says, last time Tonic was on Crafters TV, I bought loads of their shaker pockets, and they come in different sizes. I haven't seen those.
Oh, I've never even heard of them.
No.
I couldn't have seen that one. They do shaker pockets.
Shaker pockets.
Well, maybe we need to get on to Leanne and get us some. Shaker pockets, that's a brilliant idea.
It sounds like it should be a snack. Shouldn't it? You know, like those shaker crisps you used to be able to get with the salt.
Oh, Salt and Shake.
Salt and Shake, yeah.
Oh my goodness, used to love them in the white and navy packs.
That's right,
oh, used to love those. Love those. Right, so we're going to slightly offset that so you can see that beautiful white. So you just decide where you want to go with that, how far, whereabouts. Just moving it to that side. I'm just making sure that we've got that same amount of white all round on the edges. A little bit less there. There we go, and just hold that down. So pat that down, and then once it's in place, then you can go around and use your burnishing tool. Well, it's your scoring tool. So all the way around that bottom section, just making sure that's firmly into place. And there we go, that's how you create your little shaker pocket that's now flexible. So you've got more flexibility, but it will lay flat on there as well. Right, the next thing we're going to do is our other side. Do you want us to take a break, Jamie, or do you want to?
Yeah.
Yep, so we'll get everyone up to date with their shaker pocket, and then we'll do the next part of our card.
Fantastic. So we do have some other things to show you. So these are our 12 by 12 paper pads, or cardstock pads. This one is your sparkling silver. So you've got, if you've watched earlier on, I said it's like getting an elephant covering him with glitter. So this one is almost like a pearl effect here. You've got this sort of kind of soft grey, and then you've got your glitter cardstock there. So 3 packs here. You've got 72 sheets altogether. Really, really good deal. Then you've got your rose gold. Again, you've got kind of a satiny, pearlescent kind of sheen to it. Then you've got some glitter cardstock here as well. And then finally, you've got your gold as well here. So really beautiful, rich gold colour. And then you've got some gold glitter card in there as well. So the price for this is £39.50 or $45.50. 30% saving. And do remember, you will be able to get your 10% off using CTV Secret 10, which is code that's only valid until midnight tonight. We also have the Gemini MIDI. So this is a really good deal. You've got, it's a manual machine. So if you don't already have one of these, they're very useful to have in case of a power cut. You still want to carry on crafting even if there's a power cut. But it's just really handy to have a couple of different options as well. This gives you an extra 100 bonus points. It's £59.49 or $76.46. I've got one of these. I love mine. I want a whole family of Geminis at home, but I just don't have the space. But definitely worth having. So we're going to have a quick break, and we will see you back in a few minutes. Hopefully you'll catch up. Any questions, just let us know.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
One that was really funny, Ben. You did.
It was better than your I'm a gnome and I live in a caravan.
I'm a gnome and I live in a caravan.
Can we clip that? We'll do it. Everybody's gone surfing, surfing USA.
Get creative, craft along, With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us. You give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV. Create every day.
Here at Crafters TV, it couldn't be easier to get your hands on the latest crafty must-haves. Leave the hard work to us while you shop from the comforts of your own living room. Head to the Crafters Companion website to see our full crafty range, or hit the Shop the Day button to see all the new and exciting products featuring on Crafters TV. Once you've filled your cart, leave it to us to get your crafty goodies to you in super quick time, so you can get on with being creative. Crafters Companion, making crafty shopping a breeze.
My unsung hero has to be Tracy.
I'm going to give a little shout out to our Tracy.
I think if I had to nominate somebody, I'd probably go with Tracy.
Because Tracy keeps me fully supplied with cups of tea whenever I'm working here. She always finds me the things that I've lost, and she's always great to be around.
Sort of get involved with our sample library, which is massive. It's where all the samples are kept, all nice and neatly, all labelled up. And part of their job is to get the necessary samples out for the shows that we do every day, get them all ready and prepared, often display them, tidy them away again, pop them back in the sample library, and that takes an inordinate amount of time.
Because they literally are the cogs that keep us working, and I don't think a lot of people realise just what they do for us in terms of getting everything show ready so that we can come in, get ready and be relaxed to go on air and do those kind of things.
So that is just a small part of what they do, as well as being floor managers during the shows, getting us any products that we need, and most importantly, bringing the coffee.
Everybody on screen knows I make everybody's tea and coffee.
Hello everybody. I like seeing Tracy making tea. There's a little bit of a hint there. Yeah. Lots of people loving that card. Tessa's said, I love that card colour. Alison says, I rub an anti-static bag inside the enclosure before inserting the sequins. That lets the sequins move around more freely. That's a good idea. I like that idea. Rosalind says, I've a heat roller sealer, which would be perfect for that technique of sealing that little bag. Rhonda says, love the idea of this card. You can adapt it for any size die. Shadiah says, thank you for the 10% of the percentage extra off, loaded up with my favourite textured linen cardstocks. Yeah, it's definitely worth doing if you were planning on buying something. Rhonda says, I love my MIDI, and I used my MIDI yesterday for the craft along. It's a great little machine and my go-to for when I don't feel getting my OG out. In fact, when I was on Sewing Street yesterday, they asked me what we call the original Gemini, and I was like, no, the OG, the original, or the A4 one. It is the OG, isn't it? The OG, yeah, exactly. So I'm going to see how Gareth's getting on. Gareth, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well, thank you. I've managed to get this far.
Oh, looking beautiful. I like that colour.
I didn't have a cello bag, so I cut down an A5 punch pocket.
Ah, good idea. Yeah, that's well worth doing. Yeah, lots of different options for that, isn't there? Because we've all got little plastic bags lurking around the house. It's a good way of getting using them all up.
Most certainly.
Brilliant. Okay, we're going to carry on. What next section are we doing now?
Right, what we're going to do now is the next piece of Creator card die. So we're going to take the Floral Fancy. I love this die. I think this could possibly be my favourite out of the collection. It does have that beautiful sort of stained glass window. I like anything that's got a circular pattern in it as well. I think that's really pleasing to the eye. But we're going to do exactly the same, because the great thing about these dies is they are the same pattern on every side, every corner. So there's no rights or wrong ways to put them. They're all the same. And again, we're going to put just this size one into the front, and we're going to die cut this out. And then we're also going to use the largest, again, nesting dies. So that circle nesting die, we're going to use that on the inside as well. So let's place that into the middle. Take our low tack tape. I'm going to put a couple of bits in the centre and then a couple of bits around the edge as well. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you want to, obviously you could measure your sides. I'm just roughly doing that by eye, putting that circular one in and onto that side. And then we're going to just pop a little bit on each side to keep that creator card die just in place. So just like so, just a little bit there. A little bit there, and then we can send that through. And again, if you've got a junior machine or the MIDI, this will fit through there as well.
Fantastic.
So we're going to pop that into place. We're going to do the same thing again by cutting it out of our linen cardstock. So we'll take this one out, just like so. Cuts absolutely beautiful. Take those extra pieces out. So just release that tape all the way around and then on that inside bit. So that will cut out. So be really quite gentle, moving that out like so.
If you do there was another craft for you to do, what would it be rather than paper?
My craft, I would love to have the patience to do jewellery making.
Oh, okay.
I would love that, yeah, absolutely. I just don't think I've got the patience
Jewellery making
or the eyesight.
The jewellery making as in sort of beads or actually like silversmithing?
Yeah, anything.
Anything like
anything. I just think I'm definitely drawn to shiny, glittery.
You're like a magpie.
I am like a magpie, yeah, absolutely. So I would, yeah, I think I would love that. My crafting started, so the opposite way around, I started with scrapbooking.
Ah, okay.
So I remember doing scrapbooking when just before my daughter was born, actually. She's 21 this year. I mean, I've always sort of crafted and made. I was always the person that loved to make, you know, the foldable doilies to make the girls that you like. I used to love doing that, and snowmen, and I was always the one wanting the loo roll, the little tubes from the loo rolls.
Oh, I thought you meant the dolls with their knitted dresses that went over the loo rolls.
Oh no, not them.
No,
No,
not those.
no, never used to. I couldn't knit. I've never been able to knit. I've tried and I've just never been able to knit. But I've always been crafty ever from a young age. But yes, it was before my daughter was born. I decided to take up some scrapbooking and scrapbook all my. I scrapbooked my wedding and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And it was one of those crafts where I had so much. So I used to go to Ali Pali because they used to do the big scrapbook convention, and you used to be able to go and buy lots of different things. And then my mum and dad renewed their wedding vows on my mum's 60th birthday, and my sister-in-law made them a card because she couldn't get one for a renewal wedding vows at the time, because this is going back years. So she decided to make one, and I was so in awe of what she'd made. I thought, I could do that. I can make cards. And I thought, I've got all this scrapbooking stuff. You could use that to make cards with. And I remember at the time that one of my first cards I made was a Christmas card for my daughter. And I did have it. I don't think I've got it anymore, but I kept it because it's quite bad. It was a DL card, and it literally had a bit of paper stuck on it and some pop-out die cuts of presents on the bottom and this horrible Christmas tree. And I thought it was the bee's knees. I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread that I'd made this card and I'd made it. I didn't think it was good enough to give to anyone else but my daughter, because she was really young. And she would have just appreciated that I'd made it. And then I found that I loved card making more than I did scrapbooking. And then I put that to the back burner, and to this day I'm really sorry that I did that, because I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So but yeah, that's how mine started, with scrapbooking. Right, so as you can see, I just took all my little pieces out the die and we're just putting that circle one back in, and we're going to do the same, creating that frame for around our actual die cut. So pop that one through. Now in the meantime, what you also want to do is get yourself another sheet of cardstock. So I'm going to take a pale pink out of the luxury cardstock, or the linen cardstock, sorry, not the luxury. And we're going to die cut this again, because this time I want to do the paper piecing in a slightly different colour. Now if you wanted to do it in white, you could do it in white, but I'm going to do it in the pink. So let's pop that to the side. And what I have found, so if I gently turn that over, this cardstock is brilliant because it leaves the bits inside the die, so it doesn't all just fall out. So what I would say, I don't need to worry about this one because it's not the one I'm doing, but be careful when you're taking them out, because what you want to do is leave those pieces as much as possible in the die. We're not going to be doing anything that's too fussy. So if you literally, I'll show you in the next one, but I'll do it twice so you can see. If you literally just peel these away, can you see I'm not pulling out any of the actual dies from inside the die?
Is
so
that
if you
because
be
you've got
really
that
careful.
texture on it?
Yes, I think so, yeah, and it just seems to hold them in there. So this is brilliant when it comes to paper piecing. So I just wanted to show you that first time, so then when it comes to doing the next one, you'll be just as careful. Because then what happens is that you can literally lift these out of the die for which ones you need. So literally, look at that, you just get your pokey tool and that's ready to go on. Fantastic. So otherwise, they all fall out, and then try paper piecing them back in. Yeah. Not easy at all. So I'm just taking all those little bits out so you can see how easy they do come out. So if you do knock your die or anything, what I would recommend is just take another one, and you don't have to paper piece all of them. It's just a nice little craft to sort of get bits and pieces back in. So we're going to die cut that again. So this time we've got our main one. This one will be going over the top again, so we'll be doing the same as what we did on this one, but in a different variation. And this time we're going to cut the pink one out for our pieces to a paper piece back in. So again, let's just use my craft knife to cut that piece out. You'll probably be a little bit more frugal with your papers. So, and then let's just tape this one down again.
Anne Clark says, I love making jewellery. It is as addictive as card making.
Ah, okay.
Annie says, jewellery making is my main love. It doesn't really take any more patience than scrapbooking.
Oh, okay.
So I think, you know, it's one of those things, whatever, when you start something new, it always takes a little bit longer. Christine Mahoney says, I don't do much scrapbooking myself. I haven't in a long time, until the one I just did, which you would have seen on Facebook, because it's a very good one.
That's even nicer that Christine's done that, yeah, and done us all in those scrapbooks.
For a while,
yeah, absolutely. I think we need to have them, Christine. I think you need to send them and we can put them in frames and have them up in our green room or in the studio somewhere.
I was thinking about that the other day. We've got a wall that's fairly empty. We've just got one little mirror on it, and actually we should have things up on it.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
You know, it'd be nice to have it.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea.
We've got in there.
Yeah.
You know, maybe, you know, Craig toys, or, you know, little pop-up Craigs.
Pop-up Craigs.
Pocket Craigs. Also, oh, look. Tracy must have heard me say I needed a cup of tea. She's just popped in with a cup of tea. Thank you very much, Tracy. Yeah, so I think that those kind of things look really nice. And actually, those photographs, it's like everything with photographs. You take them, you see them online, but you don't actually hold on to them, do you? You know, you don't print them out. And it's lovely seeing those pictures that Christine's got hold of them. And they look really, really good. I enjoy looking at those. It was a great post.
So this is our pink one, so we're going to be using this. So I'm really gently taking these out. And also, because I want to keep this frame, because I want to cut out one of the flowers. I'm going to use it as an embellishment as well. Okay. Because these really lend themselves to taking that embellishment out. Now you can see I haven't took the centre out because I don't need to, because all I wanted to use this for was for our paper piecing pieces. But also I want to cut into these because they're really easy to cut into. So all we're going to do is use one of those flowers. I'm literally just going to, just for ease of use to get to it, I'm just going to take that out. And then you can see you've got a full flower in here. So all I'm going to do is snip in to that bit there. And we're just going to cut around the petals. So where it's actually joined on here, all you do is follow it round and then take that piece out. So you can see that gives us our petal shape on there. And we're going to do that on here as well. So even though we haven't got a die for a flower, we do have a really nice petal in here, or a nice flower, that we can use to cut out. So I'm just following that round. And again on this one. And it is just a case of where that thicker piece is to hold that in. You just follow that around and die cut, or not die cut, just snip that out. And then on your opposite side.
They're very pretty flowers, aren't they?
Really pretty flowers, absolutely. So it is just a case of trimming that out. Got just a couple of little bits, and once you've done that, you can just look around, see where you've got some little bits hanging off, and just trim into those. Then at the side. There we go. And then if I pop that on there, you can see we've got a beautiful little floral embellishment there cut out from there. So that's a really nice way to do that one. So let me just clear all these pieces up. I mean, you can cut some more if you want to, but we're just using that one embellishment. So I'm going to pop that to the side for now. And then we're going to bring these pieces back. Now, before we paper piece, what we need is something that will go on the back to be able to paper piece onto. So be really careful. You want to leave all these pieces in your die. I'm just going to pop that to the side so I don't knock it. And then this time we're going to bring in some, this is where I brought in my heat resistant acetate. You could have printable acetate as well, so it doesn't matter which one. It means, look how flexible this acetate is, so really good. But what this wouldn't have done, like a cello bag, if I'd put sequins in there, it would have just wedged them together, they wouldn't have moved, which is why I use a cello bag and not this acetate. But this acetate is brilliant because all we want that to do is we want that to cover on the inside, but we still get that flexibility with it. So all we're going to do is trim this one down, and we're going to trim our acetate to 5 by 7 7/8 of an inch. Okay. So let's bring in our guillotine and just trim that one down. So 5 and 7/8 of an inch. That's just before your 6 there. So just bringing that one down, hold that into place, and then trim that one. And then the same on the opposite side, just like so. And then this time, because it's just your piece of acetate that we're sticking to the back, we need to put our dots onto this back piece. So let me, do I have a different piece of card that I can just use? So just, I don't want to lose my acetate, so I'm going to put that over that piece there so we can see it. And then all I'm going to do is take my dotty tape pen, and again we're going to go around the edges here, all the way around, just making sure I grab all those edges. Pop them into there, and then we're just going to make sure that all these little die cut pieces have got our little dots all on. And again, if you haven't got a dotty tape pen, just use your tacky glue to tack that down. And I'm just looking, I like our dotty tape pens because they're blue little dots, so you can see where they go and know where you have missed or it hasn't grabbed. But I think one of the best inventions in crafting, this dotty tape pen. It's just amazing.
It does make a real difference because, you know, if you'd be using a proper tape pen, it would, you know, it just wouldn't work, would it? You'd end up tearing the all that beautiful, intricate pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just so good. And then I'm going to just bring in that pink piece so I can see where we're at. Bring in our acetate, and that's just going to go round that piece there, right to the edge. And once you've got that flat, make sure your sides then can come in, and then we're going to burnish that down. So you won't see that on the inside. So we're just going to make sure we burnish all those little dots into our acetate, so it's not going to come away at all. Right the way round. And it's all these things that will make sure that your card never comes apart. Because this, even though it's a sort of freestanding card, it's still quite a bendy, movable card, and whoever the recipient is, they're going to be moving it and bending it about because it's, but you can see how much we've got then, it's really bendy. So we've got our acetate, And then we can, before we put our next layer on, we're going to do our paper piecing, because with this layer I want to offset it like we did before, but if you do that before you paper piece, your little holes are not exactly the same size. Right. So always do that first. So shall I let everyone get caught up to this bit then, Becky, and then we can come back to doing our paper piecing. And then, is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, I think that makes a great idea. Yeah, that's fantastic. And it's looking so effective already, isn't it? So we'll have a look at some other deals that we've got on the show. These are our word edibles here. So you may have seen these earlier on this morning. This one is Happy Birthday. Now you've got 75% saving on this. You can see that price, it's an incredible price. So this one is your Happy Birthday. Then we have Just For You. Next one is On Your Special Day, and these are really quite intricate. You'll be able to use these in lots of different ways. Special Friend. Then you have With All My Love. Ooh. And then finally, Congrats, You Did It. But it's not finally, because you're also going to be getting this pack of Solar Gold Centura Pearl. £20, $24. Platinum price is £16 or $19.20, and you'll be getting your extra 10% with your CTV Secret 10. That is only valid until midnight tonight. So that is a really good deal for £20. It's just really crazy prices. I don't think anyone realises how great those prices are, how bad they are for us. So these are our Grande Edibles, and these are really intricate, very pretty. This one is your Elegant Trellis. This one here is your Gingham Lace, which is one I think that really looks like a Bourgeonglais. Then you have your Balloon Flowers. This one is your Rose Garden. She's not listening. Is Gareth singing the song?
I missed it. I was concentrating.
You've got Daisy Lace here. And then you also have your Chasing Dragonflies. This is a 60% saving, £26 or $30. Platinum price is £20, $80 or $24. It's really, really good. I've got a couple of comments in here. Lynn says, I'm making some cards today using tool dies as it's National Tool Day. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Cards are being donated to the Isle of Wight charities. That's really nice. Caroline French says, good morning, peeps. I've been watching while making a birthday card for my sister. I'm going to try this at home at some point, what we're doing at the moment. And Sandra Dundas says, would this benefit from red liner tape around the edge of the acetate?
Yes, you could absolutely do that. Yeah, absolutely. I think as long as you burnish your dots in, it really doesn't matter that we've not put acetone, red liner. But absolutely, if you want to get a bit more rigidity, you can absolutely do that, yes.
Okay, fantastic. We're going to pop in to see Gareth. Gareth, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing a bit of paper piecing.
No, he's already started.
Oh my goodness, he's going to finish before you.
I think he will.
I used a piece of, what is it?
Vellum?
I can't remember the name of it.
Vellum?
Acetate? Yeah, that's it, vellum.
Oh, vellum, yes,
that's
instead of acetate. That is a good idea, love that.
Yeah, I thought that would look quite nice.
It does, it looks frosted, like a frosted
piecing.
window.
Yeah. Oh, that looks really good. Oh, so I don't need to ask if you're keeping up, because you're not just keeping up, you're just zooming away. You'll be doing the next craft along again. You'll be here instead of Debbie. We can have a little relax on the sofa.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I don't mind. I'd love to come in and do that. That would be fabulous.
Yeah, it's quite. I mean, it's a little bit longer than my journey. It's quite a long way. How long would it take you to get up here from the Isle of Wight?
Oh, I think it's probably somewhere in the region of 5 to 6 hours.
Yeah. It's a fair way.
But I'd do it. I don't mind. I'd love to. It'd be fabulous. I'd have a great time.
Maybe one day, Gareth, we'll have you in the studio.
We've also got other people watching us today. We've got little feline friends watching us today. We've got a little picture of some kittens from Barbara.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Barbara, look at them. Look at all the different colours.
Oh, I'm going to have to get a little bit closer to
Oh, they're beautiful. Oh. Just makes me want a kitten more. Can we come and have lunch with your kittens?
Yeah, we had. Is Barbara around the corner? Oh, I don't know. So we were talking earlier. I went to a kitten cafe where you could you could have afternoon tea and play with kittens, and it was great.
So are they just about, like, so while you're eating?
Oh, they're really naughty.
So they come up onto your seat?
You know what, so the cats, I think in the cat room, they're not really that interested, but the kittens are so curious. As soon as you walk in there and they bring out food, they're like jumping onto your lap, and you're not allowed to pick them up unless they're on your lap. But they're trying to get, get your heads into the teacups and lick the scones. My mum was like, oh, whoa. Capped around my food, she didn't like it at all. But no, it's lovely.
Goodness.
And then towards the end, they come in with some little treats, and all the cats sort of, they're really excited for getting the treats. It's clever, really clever idea.
So
and of course, they're all cats for rehoming, so it's a great way of people sort of interacting with them.
Yeah.
They've got far more people than they have cats, available. So
wow,
it's quite cool. But
that's amazing.
Barbara, is that what you're going to be doing with your cats? You're going to open a cat cafe? I'm just saying it'll be more profitable than a spider cafe or a snake cafe.
Absolutely. I love that. I just love that idea. I didn't even know there was such a thing. Do they do a puppy one?
I don't know. Can you imagine? Not in the same room or same building.
No. Could you imagine? Oh my goodness, that would be chaos, wouldn't it?
Oh, it was very sweet though, very, very nice. Valerie says, Gareth, it's very pretty what you're doing. She likes the look of that. Denise says, great job, Gareth. And Rachel says, oh, I love ginger kitties.
Yes.
I like them as well. They're very cute.
I like any. We used to have a black cat called Norman.
Norman?
Norman, yeah. Yeah, and a black and white cat called Lucy.
Oh, I've only had black cats.
I had a black cat when I was little called Sweep.
My cat was called Pushka.
Oh, okay.
Because it was a club in Ibiza. And then we got another cat for, we thought they might be friends, and we called her Mei Mei, which means Chinese, in Chinese it means little sister. And they absolutely hated each other. I mean, really did not like each other at all. So yeah, pretty much the way you would be with a little sister.
Mei Mei. My aunt used to have a Pekingese dog called Boy Boy. I don't know what that was supposed to represent, but he was called Boy Boy.
Oh, that's good. Right, we're going to carry on.
Yes,
hopefully
definitely.
We'll up. Do let us know if you've got any questions, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, so I'm taking the craft knife because I want to take out now the acetate from the middle. Now, you could put it through your die cutting machine and die cut that bigger circle. That cuts that out. But because acetate is notoriously quite difficult to cut, I'm just using my craft knife and just really gently going around the edge of where my die cut is. Because all that's doing is taking away. What I would definitely recommend is having a glass mat to do this on, because you don't have to press so hard against that then. And it is just a case of taking that out. You don't necessarily have to take that out. I've only got a little bit away. I've still got a bit more to do. I thought I was at the end.
Difficult to see, isn't it?
But it is difficult to see. But the reason I take it out is because when we come to doing the sentiment on the inside, because your sentiment will pop through that bit.
Right.
So, but what you could do is not have your sentiment. You could actually put your sentiment on the front. But I'm going to show you a bit of a clever way of how to do your sentiment in there. So once we've done that, we're going to do what Gareth's already doing, so he's getting ahead with his paper piece in, and all I really want to do, I just want to do the flowers. So I'm going to come in with my little intricate bottle of glue, and we're literally going to glue these down. I figured it was the best one. Everyone has tacky glue or some form of glue in their stash, so all I'm going to do is go in, all the flowers are the same, which is good, and I'm just going to put a squiggle of our tacky glue in those flowers. It doesn't even have to be to the edges. It is a case of just, I'm going to do a couple at a time, because our tacky glue will allow to dry a little bit while we're doing it. So let's just bring this one in, and then we're just going to take our little die cuts off of there and place them inside, and they're all going to fit beautifully. So it's just a case of popping your pokey tool in and just easing that one out. So it's another one.
Lucy Porter says there should be a download of the picture of Craig so we can all print and hide him in our craft rooms. I wonder if Craig's watching. Did he know he was going to be used in that game? Oh, really? So The photos were made specifically.
It did
for
look
those.
like he was posing for them, so
Yeah.
I would have said he must have known about it. Yeah.
Do you know? I feel that I should print one of them off onto fabric to make a cuddly toy to give to John.
When's
John's
very
birthday?
funny. I don't know, but Tracy would be able to find out.
I've got a feeling it's May. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just making it up. Maybe. But that,
Maybe.
Maybe he needs a cuddly Craig toy. I can make one of those. I can make one of those. Caroline French says, those craft knives scare me, fingers. Yeah, I know what you mean, but I think, you know, you just got to be careful with them. And says, Debbie, what happened to Gloria?
Gloria was lost a long time ago.
Gloria?
It was my Gloria the glue booth. Lots of people have Glorias, yes, and I made Gloria out of, no, she was the spray booth. So,
isn't there a song about Gloria?
Gloria, 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 Gloria.
Was that a Eurovision song?
Gloria, I don't know.
Feels like it should be.
Always on the run now, Gloria. I've got a thing about naming inanimate objects. Martha is my sat-nav.
Okay.
It took me a long time to get used to Martha because I actually used to call my other sat-nav Gloria, and then I thought I can't. And I used to always sing to her when I got to my destination.
What did you sing?
Gloria. Of course.
I've changed my sat-nav to Waze, and I've got, I can't remember, I think he's called Dave, and he's a Cockney Londoner. And he sounds exactly like my cousin. And I said to my family, listen to this. It sounds exactly like my cousin Simon. And they were like, what are you talking about? And it was like, Kushti. And you left. It is just like listening to my cousin.
I'm not a big fan of Waves, and yet lots of people are. And I tried it because my son-in-law was telling me about it. But I just can't get on with it. I much prefer Google Maps.
Well, I found that when on my journey, when I was coming up here, because there were some problems on the motorway, it took me down country lanes. But country lanes with a bit of snow are a little bit crazy, really, a little bit dangerous. So actually, you almost need an option on Waze to say the weather's bad, to take that into account, because you don't want to be going down. We were going down like single lane country tracks to get across and to avoid the motorway. So it was a little bit
What
scary.
I didn't like about Waze was it didn't really show the roads very clearly, where Google Maps will split the road, show you which turning to go off, and which is why I sort of went back to that.
But what you can do on Waze is you can record yourself giving the instructions. So we could almost get the Hottie Scotty to record the instructions for us, or you could do that at home. You could record it yourself, and then you can have yourself telling you where to go. And I
wouldn't
like
want
listening to myself.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that.
I always know what I should be saying, so that'd be quite a good option. But yeah, I play around with the two. You know, sometimes I cheat on my Waze and I use Google Maps, but I haven't given them a name yet. What do you have a name for your car?
Yes, Sunny. Of course, it's bright yellow.
I quite like that.
Yeah.
Sunny. I don't know what I'd call my car.
Sunny and Martha, they keep me good on my journey. Yeah, I've always done that. Yeah, I've not been very good with naming things. When I was younger, I had a guinea pig called Baby because I couldn't think of anything else to call it, so I just said it was my baby, so I called it Baby. And then I had a fish called Fish.
Gareth's is called Brenda. Your sat-nav's called Brenda. That's interesting.
I love that.
Oh, the car's called Brenda.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's just brilliant.
I did have a friend who had a cat called Hamster, which was quite weird.
Oh, that's
She was like,
funny.
where's Hamster gone? And people would be like, oh, yeah, in the cat. Oh dear. Lots of people enjoy the show. Charlotte says, how do we make a Gloria? What, a car, sat-nav, or a spray?
Yeah, spray boot. So out of a water bottle, and I haven't even got a water bottle, but actually, yeah, that's all that she's made out of is a water bottle.
Oh, okay.
So
you have to see about that.
Oh, I've done that the wrong way.
Tim says he's got a question.
Oh, I like questions.
I have a lot of sentiment dies and use the dotty tape pen, but it always tears some of the letters. Is there any other adhesive best for this, please?
So, sorry, repeat that again.
Has a lot of sentiment dies and use the dotty tape pen, but it always tears some of the letters.
Yes.
Is there another adhesive that's best for this, please?
So I would definitely use tacky glue, or I would cut your sentiments out of, double-sided adhesive sheets,
Oh,
so
okay.
you can just peel the backs off. Yeah, they can be quite tricky because they're so small. But your little glue bottle is it's just brilliant. It will do all of those bits for you. You'll be able to just dot your glue around the edges.
Because we did have some teeny tiny dies, number dies, didn't we? Which were almost, you know, they were a tiny size, like, no, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch. No, perhaps not 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch. Really, really small, those kind of things. Can you put them through your Xyron machine after you've cut them?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Your Xyron machine is perfect for those pieces. I'm not even paper piecing mine in properly here. I'm getting the wrong ones in the wrong thing, but never mind. We get there eventually. There we go, that's better. So all I'm doing now is just putting a few in this bit here. So we've got a few, and then I'm going to put a couple more. We're doing good for time, so we can still. All I'm doing is doing the petals. So let's do that top petal as well.
Looks so effective, spending that little bit of time doing that paper piecing, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it is just one of those things that's quite mindful, but it is a nice way to do them. Yeah, I quite like paper piecing. And you could maybe do them in different colours. You haven't got to do them in the same. I don't know why I'm not getting these right at the top here. I feel like, am I using the wrong? I don't think I am, but it seemed to be not in the right places. So let's do that one. There we go. So that's that one. Ah, I know what I'm doing wrong. I think I've been putting the wrong bit in, so I think that piece is okay. It's hard when you're doing it upside down. So that piece will then go into there. Jamie's full of the songs today, isn't he?
Inside out,
and round, and round, upside down, you let me, you gave me love.
Do you know I look like Diana Ross in the morning? Because I have such a lot of hair.
You do have a lot of hair. Absolutely. You've got very thick hair, haven't you?
He's driving me insane. He's got too much.
Right, now let's do, I know we've got 2 more sides to do on these ones, and then we can start putting our card together. So let's take off that one and pop inside.
Lillian Fox said, Debbie, we had 2 cats called Kitty and Pussy.
Oh, nice.
That's quite, you know, calling a cat Fluffy or Whiskers, but I quite like that. And Sweet Imp says, it's so pretty, I love this card, I love this pink. It is a really pretty kind of soft pastel pink you're using that.
Yeah, really nice.
And I like it with the red as well, I think that's quite a nice mix of colours.
That's the nice thing about our collections, because everything matches.
Yeah.
So that's why I've gone for the Say It With Flowers collection. I think we might even have some of them on the show. We need to check on that though, but I'm pretty sure the paper pad is still in stock, which is amazing. Right, the last bit here, and then we've got 1 more to do. So I'm just keeping this, so we're doing all the petals, but if you want to do a little bit more, you can. You could either use gems on the inside, or you can paper piece those as well. Right, so we've got 1 more to do down the bottom here, and then we've done our paper piecing. I bet Gareth's just waiting, isn't he, or is he still paper piecing?
How are you doing, Gareth? So he's ahead?
He's ahead, that's good.
Oh my goodness.
That's
He's
good.
finished. He's having a cup of tea, isn't he? There used to be, I remember watching a series of British Bake Off, and there was one girl and she was always finished before everybody else. So they were all rushing around like headless chickens, and she's just, her whole counter's all clean. She's sitting there having a cup of tea, just watching everybody. I think she came 2nd or 3rd in the end, but yeah, she was always sort of finished before everybody else and tidied up. That would never be me.
We've been watching The Next Level Chef. We're just, it's amazing. Have you seen that?
No, I've not seen that.
Oh, Becky, it's so good. So good. So they do a US one as well as a UK one as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so our US viewers have probably seen it as well. But yes, it's got 3 levels of kitchens.
Ooh.
So you go down, so you've got a basement, which is a horrible kitchen, which has got like no mod cons, it's rusty, nothing cooks properly. The ovens, yeah, it's really bad. And then you've got your medium kitchen on the 2nd level. And each tier comes down with food. And if you're in the top level, you get first dibs at what you want to pick to choose, and then you only get 30 seconds, and then it starts to go down to the next level, and then the basement gets whatever's left over to cook with.
Oh gosh.
And then they have to compete against, and then their dishes are rated between the
And do
cooks.
they move up to different kitchens?
Yes, so if they become the winner, they go straight to the top kitchen for the following week.
Oh.
It's very good. You'll love it.
I should watch that. There's
very
There's a
good.
bit of a horror film that's like that with this level that descends, but it's about people eating.
Oh.
So the people on the top level have the really nice food, and by the time it gets to the bottom levels, they've got nothing. Yeah, it's a Spanish film. I can't remember what it's called. It was quite a weird film. Yeah. It was an odd film. Not quite. No, I quite like that idea. That sounds much more peaceful than than that. That's quite good.
Sounds good.
I do like a cookery show. I
love
Great
a
British
cookery
Menu.
show. Yeah, I love them. So good.
I can't hear Gareth. I always talk about food when I'm on here, don't I? And I did promise last time I was in that I was going to buy every single chocolate bar, and I would work out measurements, because I like to use measurements as chocolate bars. I don't want to say, oh, that's 4 inches. I want to say that's a Twix.
Oh.
Because I find that easier. So when I talk about pockets and things, I'm like, oh, that's a family pack of Maltesers. That pocket.
That's weird, Becky.
It's not. It's really
That is weird.
because you know exactly what size pocket I'm talking about. So you know, it's always quite important. 2.5 Milky Ways. What, the fun size Milky Ways, or the ones that you get, the extra big ones?
That's the trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, you get like maxi ones.
No, I think chocolate bars are quite important unit of measurement as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah.
So that would be a box of Maltesers, that you're making there. That's a box of Maltesers size, I reckon.
No, because Maltesers are oblong.
Yeah, you're right.
That's not at all a Malteser size. That's a tray of Ferrero Rocher.
Oh. You could fit 9 Ferrero Rocher in there, I reckon, couldn't you? Make that into a little
Absolutely.
box.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
See,
7, 8,
you'll
9.
keep doing this now.
Yeah, I like that now. Yeah, I quite like that idea. Right, so we've done our panels. So what we need to do now is to put our card together. So we're going to pop those to the side. The reason we've done these, because obviously these are the more time-consuming bits. Our next stage is to bring back in those 4 pieces of card that we had at the beginning. So we had our 7-inch square. We're going to bring in our guillotine. We can have a break if you want, Jamie, but I'm just going to tell people what we're going to do, and that way they can just score their card while we're in the break.
Yeah.
And all I'm going to do is score each piece of card 3.5 inches, okay? Fold and burnish those, and then we'll stick it all together.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, we're going to go for a quick break. And when we come back, I've got a story about a rabbit to tell you. So that'll keep you excited and wanting to come back for more. But you also want to come back more to have a look at what we're going to be doing in the next section. So we'll see you in a couple of moments and let you catch up.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
One that was really funny, Ben. You didn't.
It was better than your I'm a no when I live in a caravan.
I am a gnome and I live in a caravan.
Can we clip that? We'll do it. Everybody's gone surfing, surfing USA.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us. You give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafter's Companion is magical. There's magic here.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV. Create every day.
Here at Crafters TV, it couldn't be easier to get social with us. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, on your TV or tablet, you can get so close to the action, it's like you're in the studio with us. You can ask questions about products or crafty techniques. Get hints and tips from our expert demonstrators. Plus, share pictures of your crafty makes with our amazing community. Crafters TV, getting you closer to the crafty action.
We get to know people from places and walks of life that we wouldn't come across in our everyday life if it wasn't for Crafters TV and doing what we do.
I got so many lovely comments from people when I started doing the presenting, and it was just really such a lovely feeling. And it's nice that people keep messaging in. We see the same people. We know you can build up that kind of relationship with those people. So it's just the fact that people like what we do and they're pleased. And I do love it when people send us photographs of the items that they've made.
We talk about customers, but really they go in as a customer, come out as a friend. The support that I get is amazing. The messages I get are amazing.
Me personally, it is personal interaction. I've never had the best of health. I've always been open about that with our viewers at Crafters TV. So many people are in the same situation as me health-wise. Other people have got a completely different health issues. They understand and they relate to what I'm going through, what others are going through. So whether we interact on a crafting basis or whether we interact on a health basis, a personal basis, we're all there to support one another. It is incredible.
The reaction of viewers when they come to meet us is worth all of the early mornings when we have to get up for our early morning shows.
Some of the customers come on as craft ambassadors and things like that, craft along with us, and being able to actually chat with them on air. Love it. I really love that connection with them.
We've had lots of shows where we've done like craft alongs, especially where we've had viewers craft along with us. We had a particular viewer, Joy, who joined us once before, and she literally made me cry on air, and Joe, because the things she said about us, it really was quite humbling that there are people out there that watch us and invite us into their living rooms and really treat us like family.
Hello, welcome back. Do you want to hear my story about a rabbit? So Tim has sent in a message. It says, I had a giant continental rabbit and used to take her for walks on a dog harness. I took her to a park area with lots of people with dogs. It slipped the lead and started to run. I called it back and it sat across my feet. How organised is that? I bet all the other dogs were like, I think continental rabbits are massive, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
They're like the size of a dog, which the dog probably would have thought, oh, I'm not chasing after that. That just made me laugh. He's carrying on with the story. He says, everyone was running to get their dogs on the lead and asked how on earth did I record a pet rabbit and play fetch with sticks. I'm sure my rabbit thought it was a dog as well. And Lillian Kwok says, Becky, there's no such thing as a family-sized bag of Maltesers. You're absolutely right. I completely agree with you. When they say sharing bag, I think that's a really sort of an aggressive tone to take with me. No, not sharing at all. And then there's things where they say you can reseal them for later. Yeah, right. I remember Delia, what's her name? Delia Smith saying, if you have leftover wine, to pour it into ice cube trays. And I'm thinking, who has leftover wine? Surely if there's a little bit left, you just go, oh, I'll just have a big glass at the end. Anyway, strange things. And as one of our viewers said, it's National Tool Day, so we're going to do a little collection of tools that you might need here. So these are our intricate tool collection. So you have your set of 3 rolls of low-tack tape. You've got a tape pen. You've got your die brush and foam mat, and you've also got some replacement brushes here. And then you've got your pokey tool here as well. And I think you've got this, does this come with it as well? Yeah, so this is your Centura Pearl in the Snow White with a hint of silver here as well. So this is £17.49, $29.49. Platinum price is $13.99 or £23.59, 25% saving on there. And of course you can get your 10% saving if you're going to use CTV Secret 10 code as well. So as it's National Tool Day, you might as well take advantage of that. We're going to carry on with the craft along. I'm hoping that everyone is catching up and keeping on top of it all. What's the next section you're going to be doing?
Right, so I've told everyone to score their cardstock. So we've got a 7x7 inch cardstock. We've scored and burnished in at 3.5 inches. So you've got your 4 pieces all scored in at 3.5 inches, okay, in half. Now we're going to glue them together. So you're going to do them back to back. So you will have those two like that. So you'll have to make that sort of T shape across the top and down, okay? So we've got that. So we're going to glue these together. Now, I am going to switch and use tacky glue now because it's a wet glue which gives you a little bit of wiggle room.
Right.
Now, if you're really good with tape runners or tape pens, you can absolutely use those. It's just that I like, when I'm sticking cardstock especially, to have a little bit of wiggle room. So we're going to pop that in, and I'm just going to make sure that my glue, now you don't have to do this, I just like to make sure my glue goes right up to those edges, and then I can just pop that on. So onto that side, just put my glue there, and then we're going to stick those together. And then what that will do is just give you a little bit of wiggle room to place those. Now I like to stand mine up, move them to each other, to the points, and then you can move those in to that point there. So just go in to each side.
Could you use multi-purpose glue on this if you wanted to?
Yes, you can. My thing with multi-purpose glue is it dries rock solid.
Right.
So it's really strong glue. So it's brilliant for things like this. And I've obviously, my cardstock isn't cut to size because I've noticed that's a little bit out. So I'm just going to wiggle that a little bit in. I'm not too worried because we can always trim that down. So, but I definitely have not cut my card to size, but never mind, we'll sort that out after. So, and then we're going to do the same with our other pieces. So we're going to bring that in, and then this piece is going to stick in as well. Can you see? So gluing all those pieces together create that durable double-sided where we can then place our bits on. So we're going to do exactly the same with the other piece. So we're going to make that sort of T shape across the top, and we're going to glue those sides together. Yes, so what I would say, and sometimes when so less is more with all-purpose, because if you put too much glue on, what will happen, it will warp your card. So when it starts to dry, it pulls in, and then your card won't be as flexible. Now, because this is a flexible card, you want it to be flexible. If you use all-purpose, that will make it quite a solid card because it dries like concrete. So I wouldn't recommend it on this type of card. I would recommend it if you've just got a flat card or box and you don't want it to move at all. Then it's perfect. Right, so that card, you can see I've cut that one perfectly. And then all we're going to do now is we're going to glue then those panels together. So we're just going to put our glue into both places. So popping that in like so. So this gives you a really nice rigid card, but it also gives you that bendable element that you can then put with your Create a Card dies.
Do you avoid putting the glue actually on the or very close to that bend, that curve line, that fold line?
No,
So,
not
it
at all.
doesn't
I
matter.
don't think it matters. No, I think you could put it right over if you wanted to. It is just a case of having it so it sticks, because you want them to go right into that middle section. So what will happen is you'll get that really nice and tight, because you still get that bendable or bendability in your cardstock. So like so. And then what you can do, once you've got that into place, you can then fold it down and just rub it down. So you know that that's completely took hold. And then we'll do that on the other side as well. So just pop that down so know that all your pieces are all together. It's a bit like a sort of book card, isn't it, as well? So you could do it just a little bit of a different. And then you can see, so you've got that element, and it gives you that, you've got the strength in there as well. So any bits that aren't quite stuck, just give them a little press around the edges, and then you can see. So that's how easy. That's why we wanted to do all the main bits first, because that's really easy. Now, the other thing we're going to do is take sheets of our cardstock, our 12 by 12 layers, and then we're going to trim these to size to fit into there before we actually attach our main element. So we want to trim these pieces. We want 4 pieces, 6 7/8 by 3 3/8.
Okay.
So let's just get my guillotine, like so. We're then going to trim this one down. So let's go, we're 6 7/8. So let's do it this way first. Now remember, your 6 7/8 is your long piece, so just decide where you want your papers to be. So I'm going to go 6 7/8 of an inch, so just below my 7. So I'm going to actually do it to 6 3/4. That will be much easier just to have that 1/4 of an inch. And then we're going to turn that round, and we're going to do this to 3 3 1/4. Let's do that 3 1/4. So 3 1/4, and we need 4 pieces of those. So that's 1, 3 3/4. That's 2, and 3 3/4. So that's 3, and then our other piece here, trim that down again. So this time we want to go 6 3/4, and trim that to 3 1/4, like so. So that's those pieces. Then we want to create some panels. So I wonder if I've left enough here to do our 2. I have enough to, let me see how much I've left here. Perfect. So what we want to do with these are both, so they should be, you should have scraps left over. If you haven't, then you want to do them 6 3/4, and then we want to trim it to 3/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to take that to the end of my lines on my guillotine, which will give me that 3/4 of an inch, just like so. And we want 4 of those.
So it's a good way of using up that whole sheet of paper.
Yes, absolutely.
I quite like it when you can, you feel like you've got the full use out of that piece of paper.
So 6 3/4. Yeah, absolutely. It's good, isn't it, when you can get all those bits done? Absolutely.
Otherwise you feel a bit guilty, don't you? If you're cutting into it and you've got loads of waste.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we are still going to use a bit more, although we could just use up the scraps from our other pieces of card, actually. So let's just trim those. So that gives us 4 pieces there. Just double check I've got 4. Yep, 4 pieces. Right, so let's decorate our card. So you'll find when you've got your card that one piece, so that lays flat, the other piece, it doesn't seem, can you see this? The pieces that open the most amount are the pieces that these pieces are going to go inside. Right. They're the pieces that are going to sit inside of there, like so, okay? So that's a more bend, where you're seeing this one, it's a little bit there, you have to open them a bit wider. So you want the pieces that you've got there, the more open pieces, we're going to pop these bits in. So first of all, let's do, it doesn't matter which pieces go in, just check in that we've got the right amount. So we're going to pop that one, let's pop that just in there and stick these ones down. So I'm going to bring my tape pen back into these, and then we can just stick these down. So nice and easy. Make sure we've got them the right way. Not that it matters, just having florals all over is very nice. So, and then one on our other side. So these should be the perfect fit for inside. Stick that one on.
They're very pretty paper pads, aren't they?
Such lovely paper pads. Yeah, really lovely paper pads. And then turn that over, and then we've got our next one. So we're going to do those papers as well. just like so. I've got a bit of, well, I think lots of people have, just make sure we've got that the right way. Lots of people have got paper pad addictions at the moment. And I'm not surprised because I think our paper pads are some of the best on the market. I think you've probably heard us talk about them before, Becky, but we have Faye in the office and we are so lucky to have her. They call her Paper Pad because she designs our paper pads. And Leanne actually said the other day that we all need to go past her and tell her how good she is because they reckon she really doesn't know how good she is.
Oh.
Right, I'm going to bring these two pieces back in. Actually, I didn't give you the right measurements for these ones because these are going to sit inside. And I can't remember, I think they were 5 3/4, not 6 3/4. So I'm just going to bring my guillotine back in. So those 1/4 of an inch strips, we're just going to trim them down. I think I could possibly get away with just trimming all at once. We're going to trim that down to 5 3/4. Okay. Instead of 6 3/4. So 5 3/4. Just hold that and then cut through all of those. Now, before you stick these down, just a little tip. These are going to go on the inside, so you want your strips to go on the inside, okay? You don't want them on the outside, so you want them on the inside here, because they're the ones that are going to be shown. Now, it's up to you if you want to use your pattern, but actually I want to use the opposite side. I want to keep these quite plain, because I don't want them to feel like they're a different pattern to the outside. We're trying to sort of keep this all more of a sort of monochromic look. So let's pop that there. Oh, and then I went and done it with the pattern side, but never mind.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Yeah, I'll show you why in a second. So then when we come to sticking these on, see, you won't see it, you won't see the actual, it looks similar to the design that you've already got inside. So let's do another one.
I do love the paper pads. In fact, I needed some wrapping paper and I didn't have any, so I used one of the paper pads as wrapping paper.
I love that idea. Brilliant idea.
My daughter was like, "Oh, this is lovely wrapping paper," and I was like, "It's not. It's paper pad." And then actually, I was thinking, "Wow, that should be something we do. We should do, wrapping paper, and that'd be quite nice. With all the maybe for each collection, you can get an option of wrapping paper with a, some embellishments to finish it all off." Some sequins to go in a bag or something, a bit of tissue printed. It looked quite good.
I've got bits of cello bag that are stuck to me that have obviously crept in there, so let me just get rid of those. Yeah, that's not a bad shout actually, is it?
Caroline French says it's gorgeous paper and the paper pads are the best quality I've used. They are really, really good. Terry Anderson says it's cold and dreary in Ohio, making French onion soup whilst watching. Yum, I love French onion soup. This is
big
fabulous,
cheesy
Debbie.
crust crust on top.
Not quite the same here. We can't have French onion soup, is it? I've got macaroni cheese microwave meal for my dinner. It's not quite the same. This is fabulous, Debbie. Saved it to my Debbie folder and will craft along later.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind of you.
I think lots of times with the craft alongs, actually, there's so many techniques. You might not be able to craft along immediately, but being able to go back and revisit those, you might have only just seen these creator cards and you've ordered them, but you obviously can't craft along, so they've not arrived yet. The UPS man or whoever's going to be delivering to you is going to be winging his way with the new items, and you can watch the craft along a little bit later. And I would like that opportunity. Otherwise, there were some times when on other programs I'd watch something, I think that's lovely, I'll buy it, and then I've missed the show and I can't remember how to use the item I've purchased.
Yeah.
So it's really handy being able to have all that technology, be able to watch everything back.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I am doing here, Becky, I'm putting red liner tape on because this is your bendy bit. I think it really lends itself to putting extra tape on here. So I'm just putting it on the ends of each piece that's going to be stuck down. And that way, this is never going to come apart unless someone's ripping it apart. It's a really good way of using your red liner tape and having this attached to your card. So again, I'm just going to make sure we burnish that right into the cardstock. So that will give that a really nice, strong stick. Now, we're not going to stick this one down just yet. How are we doing for time? Oh my goodness, right. We've got 10 minutes. So what I do, because I want to show you a little trick with doing a sentiment. So let's do this one first so we can pop this one in. And then the other one, I want you to show you how we do our sentiments on the inside. Because it's a really nice little trick of being able to pop your sentiment in, but but still being able to fold your card. And it's those sort of things that are really good to learn and to do new bits with, which is always good for a craft along. So I'm just going ahead and putting my sticky red liner tape down each side, like so. So this one can go in because we've got all our shaker elements all done, like so. So what I am going to do, we're going to choose which ones, it doesn't matter which way round it goes, you've got your beautiful sides on both. Centralise it first, so know where that's going to go in the centre. And then what I would say is hold half down and then pull this piece out. Right. And then that way, just take your poker tool, which mine's somewhere, and then you can just take off this bit here. So lift that off with your poker tools. You haven't got to really move your hand. Then you can just tuck that bit back in and tuck that down.
That's a good idea.
There you go. And then you know that that's going to be straight on your card, okay? And then do the same. So while that's still down, I'm going to just give that a little bit of a burnish down, like so that won't come apart. And then I can now take this piece out. Because I've got that down, I know it's going to go in the right place. So we're just going to take that out. And the other side one, like so. And then we're just going to take that under, flatten that down, and then that will go straight down to that bit. And because of the nature of the card, that is going to then be bendy. So it's just a really nice way to do that curve, but it lays completely flat. It's very clever, isn't it?
Yeah, really clever.
Right, I want to show you a really clever, quick bit before we finish, because now let's just grab one of those strips of card that we had from earlier, with all those little bits of offcuts that we done. What we want to do with this, we want to trim this one down. We want 4 pieces of this, so we want to cut 4 inch by 1 inch, sorry. So let me just get my guillotine. We're going to trim this down to 1 inch. So on that 1 inch mark, and then we want it to 4 inches. So 4 inches like so. Let's put that on. Then we're going to bring in our scoreboard. And we want to score this in at 1 inch and 3 inches. So do that at 1 inch there. And then we're going to go to 3 inches. Okay, so that's going to give us our 2 pieces. Let me pop that to the side. So just burnish those pieces in, like so. Now what this is going to act as is our middle section. Sure, I'm just going to check because I did, no, it does go that way round. This piece is going to go into your middle section here, and all you're going to do is find your centre point, so which is this bit. So on here, now again you can use red liner, I'm just going to use a tape pen. So remember, this strip of card is 1 inch by 4 inches, scored at 1 inch and 3 inches. What I'm going to do is where my where that comes into the centre. Before I do that, bring this in. Didn't want to do that and not do anything. Find that centre point, so let's just say about there. We would then want to stick this centre piece in, just like so. Want to make sure that will still move. Don't need to worry about that now, so I can take that away. Take the other side as well, just like so. What this is really good for is we want to then bring that over. So you're going to bring that over to meet with the other one, like so. So that will go down. Bring your tool inside.
So still keeping it flat?
Still keeping it flat, yeah. So we're just making sure that that goes down like so. Because what that then does, can you see?
Oh, yes.
Gives us a little curve. Yeah. Now this is where, so your centre, we wanted to cut these smaller actually. What I am going to do, I wonder if we've got, we haven't even got our mini in the studio. No mini, it's absolutely fine. We can die cut it, I was just trying to save time. Let's bring our dies back in. I don't think I've ever created so much mess in a craft along. I'm normally really good at tidying about, but I haven't. But what I want to do is create a little bit on the inside. So we're going to use our dies. So let's do these bits here. We want a white one and we want a red one. So both are slightly smaller than our outside edge. So I've got my Gemini Junior plates, so let's just send them into there. And like I say, now you've learnt that, all the other is about decorating, so don't worry. I just really wanted to show you this tip and show you how well it works. So all I want to do is die cut those out. What we might not get a chance to do is stamp your sentiment. So what I would say is stamp a sentiment onto that circle one. I've already got a pre-stamped one, which I don't normally do at all. And funny enough, I had it just to check that the sentiment I used stamped in the centre of that small one. So I wouldn't know. Oh, it's moved again, so it's a good job I did that anyway. Let's have that one. So when you come to putting these in place, I'm going to use a piece of foam, although I can't find my foam pads. Let's just grab some from over here. Let's put these onto there and just take those extra little pieces away. Doing this really quickly. So your sentiment is going to go onto that middle one. So all these are done with that same die. And then when you stick this one on in the middle, all I'm going to do is put some tape down there, pop that into place. You've now got a bendy sentiment. A bendy sentiment. So when you put this on, can you see each one then, that sentiment will come out?
Yeah.
So it's a really clever way of doing that. And then all we want to do is exactly the same as what we did before. So place those where you want them to be in the centre. Still haven't put that on very straight, so I'm going to take that off a little bit first and put this on. Excuse me. And then bring that out to the side. Use your pokey tool just to take those first pieces off, like so. Pop those ones underneath. And then we're going to do the opposite side, so taking away that piece, like so. Oh, it doesn't want to come away, that bit.
Sometimes it can be temperamental. They say never want to work with children, animals or redliners.
Is that what they say, Becky?
Yeah, well known.
Right, that's those ones down. And then we can then centralise that one into the centre, like so. So then you've got that pop-out element on the inside with your sentiment that doesn't get squashed. And I'm going to bring that in so you can see, and there you go. Fantastic. And then all you would do is those same panels to put on the inside of your card to create those bits there. So let's just bring that one in so you can see. So it's just a case of cutting extra panels for the inside. And then that piece earlier, that little die that we did, the little tiny die there, if I turn that round, that's what we've decorated the front with. So sorry we didn't get the full decorating done, but at least you learned how to do that beautiful shaped card.
Yeah. That's a really unusual shape, and I think it's really beautiful. I think lots of people are saying that they would love to make that. Michelle Knits For You said, I'm going to re-watch, because I'm going to make this for my daughter's birthday in May. She'll be 33. Her name is Angelique. I think she'll absolutely love that. It looks beautiful. Gareth, how are you doing? Have you finished? Have you made yourself a cup of tea?
I finished.
Excellent.
Literally just.
Let's have a look.
Well, I'm just putting some stickies on at the moment.
Oh, I love
that. Other than that, it's...
Yeah, that's really good.
Oh, Gareth, it's lovely. Have you enjoyed making it?
I have had a whale of a time. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on. It's been great. I mean, I think the next gentleman we have in got a lot to live up to. Because we could see how far you were getting during the show, and you were just moving along. You knew exactly what you were doing. So well done. I think that looks great.
It'll be the first time I ever have known what I'm doing.
Well, what better time than to be on Crafters TV?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Exactly. And well, hopefully I might be on again, so I can only hope. Maybe I might be the next bloke again.
Thank you so much. I do hope you enjoyed it, and well done. I think it looks great. And make sure you take some pictures and send them through to us later on so we can see what that's like. I'll quickly just show you the boards again so you can see what we've got. This is your rose garden, and we're going to flick through these really quickly just so you can see, because if this has inspired you to make them and you haven't got them, this is a deal that you really don't want to miss out on. Dainty doodles. We also have your timeless foliage. We've got fancy florals down here. We've got pretty petals. And then we've also got timeless tiles. So this is £67.96 and $79.80. Do remember that's a secret code, CTV Secret 10, to get 10% off. We're done with the craft along. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't manage to craft along with us, make sure you save this so you can use it again. Debbie's making a lot of noise over there. She's clearing up all the mess she's made. We are going to be back a little bit later on with Masterclass. So we're going to be back. We've got a couple of hours off, haven't we, to have a little bit of downtime. Might even going to have a really fancy French onion soup now. Really fancy French onion soup. Shame I haven't got my car. But do have a nice rest of the afternoon, and do join us back at 6 p.m. and when we have Masterclass. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.